Hello again, folks. Part 2 of my NES Collection vid. Hopefully this won't be as long as the first part, but if it is, you're just going to have to deal with it. And once again, if it bores you, there's other stuff on YouTube. And other websites that have video. Okay. Spy Hunter. Just as good as the arcade, just doesn't have, obviously, the sound or music or colors. It has that Peter Gunn theme in it, just like the original arcade game. It never ends. It's only score based, much like Pac-Man and the sort. And that's the only disappointing part I don't like about the game, is it doesn't end. Yeah, a game has to end. I'm sorry. Now this was actually a really cheap buy, and I was surprised because it's not very common. Mighty Final Fight. And some may even say this is better than the Super Nintendo version because you can play as all three characters, and I believe it's 2-player. No, it's 1-player. I think. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, it's a super deformed version of Final Fight, and it's rather fun. This cost me $5. Okay, y'all remember Shadowgate. Here's Uninvited. They made 3 types of this kind of game on the NES. There was Shadowgate, Deja Vu, and Uninvited. Oh, and I forgot there's a couple others. There's but it wasn't made by Kemco in Sika. It was actually made. One was Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom, which I don't have because it's ultra rare and it's expensive and I can't afford it. And then there's Maniac Mansion, which is a fan favorite. I'm not particularly fond of it. I think it's kind of stupid, actually. But this is really good. And the other versions in other regions are uncensored, and they got like different stuff in there that you won't see in the NES version. The game that started it all with this genre. Well, not exactly, but it started a era in vampire hunting. Castlevania, the very first one. Excellent game with hundreds of amount of replay value because the game is so damn fun. Now, this game has a small following with it, very small. But it's fun, and they should have made a sequel or an additional adaptation to it. Wrecking Crew. It's a lot of fun. You can make your own levels, and the gameplay is rather addictive. You knock down brick walls. The only thing I didn't like is if you made a wrong move, you're dead. Now, you know me, I'm not much of an environmentalist. But they actually made a game character and a comic character that was about the environment. And the game is actually rather good, but it's not something that this company is good for. But, it's an Intergalactic Ninja. This was made, I believe, in 1991. And it was one of the last Konami games released on the NES. And they made a Game Boy port, too. I never played that one yet. You ever wanted your coach in the corner ring to give you a blowjob in between the rounds on boxing? Look no further than this. Seriously, play the game and you'll know what I'm talking about. And there's many videos on YouTube that will show it too, I'm pretty damn sure. Many AVGN fanboys, I'm not one of them. I used to like his work, but he just got dumb over time, and his stuff is rather boring to me. But you know, the fan base enjoys work. That's fine. I don't care personally. But he reviewed this game. Is it as cheap as the guy says on his videos? Absolutely. The hit detection between you and objects is horrendous. The game is almost unplayable. Almost. Okay, this you needed the robot for. We only know those 2 games. And one is Gyromite. Gyromite. I don't know. The other one was called Stack Up. I've never seen a card of Stack Up yet. Now, when I first saw this game on television, on a commercial, I thought it was an adaptation to Adventure Island because the theme is the same, but it wasn't. And a lot of people dislike this game, but I don't see why. It's actually kind of fun. It's the Adventures of Dino Ricky. I like the game. Granted, the jumping sucks, especially during the pond parts, where you're jumping over a pond. That would fucking piss you off more than anything in the world. Because it's finicky, it's touchy. I can't explain it, really. You'll have to play the game to understand what I'm talking about. A Zapper game that was really good in the arcade. And they actually had a sequel called Operation Thunderbolt, I believe it was, for the Super NES using the Super Scope, or the controller. But Operation Wolf. And there's also a third game that came out in the arcade, which featured digitized characters. Much like those crap games like Revolution X. I was going to say T2 fits under that category, but I think T2, the arcade game, was actually pretty good. Me and my dad used to play this at the laundromat back when our fucking washing machine broke. Actually, this isn't the exact same game, but it's the one that spawned from it. Arkanoid. An absolute classic. Take a game like Breakout, as boring as it is, put some fun elements in, and then you got yourself a kick-ass block hidden game. It's Arkanoid. Alright, game Squaresoft's first licensed domesticated release in the Americas. The cover art is whoop-ass, but the game itself not so much. King's Knight. Basically, you run and shoot. You gotta find 4 elements per character, and if you don't have all the elements by the end of the game, you might as well just shut the power off because you can't go any further. I'll just say that much. A good arcade game that spawned 2 sequels in the arcade, or I'm sorry, for the NES, or Famicom actually. I don't know why this game didn't do better, but here you go. It's Kid Nicky the Radical Ninja. It's a very fun title. I just don't understand why it didn't spawn any. And you know, no way. I don't think you could see it, but if you look at his sword, there's blood on it. An American NES game with blood on the cover. That's nice. Actually, that's kind of stale, but it's not in-game. Okay, well, this isn't really that popular. I believe this is a version of Reversi. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's Othello by Acclaim. The CPU will whoop your fucking ass left and right. Which is why I don't play it very often. However, my brother will sit there for 6 hours at a time and fucking play the bitch. It does not bother him at all. No, okay, another game when I was a kid, I loved in the arcade, and I actually liked the cartridge too. But over time, you realize its faults, and I actually showed you a glitch on my game channel when I was playing it, and that's RoboCop. An arcade game that I believe used that little twist joystick. I don't know. But we're not doing that. Anyways, Heavy Barrel. I love Heavy Barrel. I love this game. I play it with friends whenever we have retro gaming nights. You know, even though they don't exist anymore. See the What is a Friend video. This game was technologically amazing when you played it. But the graphic style reminded me too much of Marble Madness, so I kind of got that feeling to it. It's Rare's Captain Skyhawk. That's right, Rare. Rare made this. Milton Bradley published it. Most of the games made by Milton Bradley, or were published by Milton Bradley, were Rare games made by Rare Ltd. Because they didn't have a license until later when they became Rareware, which was Nintendo's secondary party. And then after the contract went out, Microsoft bought them out. Hang on a second. Okay, that's gonna work. Okay. Next title. This actually has somewhat of a cult following, and I believe this music was in Brawl. Well, but the game itself is a little on the hard side, but you can make your own levels, which was kind of cool. Mock Rider. The game that just based itself around secrets, I will never figure this game out. And I believe Nintendo Power released a issue to get you started on how to play this game. Now, in my opinion, if you have to make a starter guide in a magazine just to get you started on how you play this game, you know the game's shite. Now, I didn't know this when I first got this game, because I didn't have internet when I bought this. And this was bought, I think, in 1998. Yeah, it was 98, because I remember that's when I got that job at Fraser School District, and I was working as a janitor. Anyways, Milton's Secret Castle. It's very... Some people have very fond memories of this. I don't, because I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm not one of those gamers that goes on GameFAQs and cheats, because then where's the thrill in trying to figure out what you gotta do in a video game? You know, the thrill's pretty much just destroyed as soon as you look that shit up. I understand frustrations go through your head, but if you figure it out, you'll be better as a gamer. Word from a retro gamer at heart. And mind and body and whatever. I actually got to the 3rd level in this game. I never saw the 4th level. It's short but sweet. Top Gun. I know. Many of you have seen AVGN video of it. Of course, he's bullshit because I can land the plane and connect the fuel. If you want a video of it, I could probably do that before I move. Speaking of which, not to be off topic, I filled out my marriage license today. Tomorrow I just got to get it notarized. So, yay me. Here's a good game. This is called Sparta X in Japan, and it actually spawned a sequel within that same country, but unfortunately the Americans never saw it. I don't know why, because Kung Fu is rather popular, and yes, that's what it is. Demonius emulating game sounds. Not surprisingly, this is the only one that's showing up in my collection so far. I don't think I showed the other two in any way. I don't know, whatever. Like I said, it's not particular order. I'm just getting them out of the drawer, putting them in the tote. Ninja Gaiden 3, Ancient Ship of Doom. The storyline in this is a little iffy and stupid and kind of, I don't know, stale. I like the Jaquio storyline a lot better. However, it's a good game. It's a good way to end the trilogy. I mean, they were trying to do something different. You gotta give them credit there. I like companies that try to do something different. It's not always the best recourse when creating a video game, but, you know, it keeps the idea fresh. I have mixed feelings about this because I prefer the arcade game a lot more than the NES counterpart. However, When you buy an underage kid a pack of cigarettes and he gives you this, you ain't gonna bitch about the price. Teenage Mutant Ninja 2, the arcade game. I don't like the attack functions because you have to attack a foot soldier, wait about 1 second to attack him again. You can't just attack him again right away, otherwise the hit doesn't register. That's stupid. Oh, excuse me. Okay, remember I was talking about Marble Madness? Well, here you go. The catchphrase I think was you will lose your marbles. Ha ha ha. Suck my dick. Actually, this is a sequel to a game called Top Secret Episode, Google 13. I will never get past the maze in this. I want to look up a video to do it, but I don't think that's a good idea. Anyways, it's called The Mathaka Conspiracy. Not a very good game, but I still want to get further in it because it looks like it might get good later on in the game. I don't know. One day, maybe. One fine day. Now, my brother gave me this game because we were trading games at one point, and I kind of like Quest of the Avatar better than this. But this is a classic in its own right. But the only good thing about this version is you can kill the king that hires you to go on the quest in question. But it's Ultima Exodus. You really gotta know what you're doing if you want to get anywhere in this game. These kind of games confuse me. Like the Genghis Khan, Ishido, those Koei games, those confuse the shit out of me. There's actually one I really liked, and that was, give me a minute to think, Romance 2, The Three Kingdoms. That was the only one I played out of the whole Romance saga, and I liked it. I didn't know how you could move your camps though, or your armies, because the computer could move, but you couldn't. I don't understand how that worked. Maybe someone can tell me who's watching this video. Sequel to a great game that I put away with my other tote. And this was actually given to me, believe it or not. Because all these go so expensive on eBay. And you know, they're good games, but they're just rehacks of the game that was made before, but with extra shit. But this was at an age when it was excusable to do. Mega Man 3. And I like this one, not better than 2, but it is one of my favorite Mega Man titles because it added the slide. The slide was a very good evading feature to get away from certain shit, and you had to use it in certain places too. The cover art's pretty cool. Shows him fighting Sparkman. But the cover art Mega Mans were so dumb. I mean, seriously. They were dumb. Okay. Now, like I said, I like some sport games. I just don't like the actual, the actual game that... Well, this is actually... You play track and field, and I showed you track and field, but this game was made by Capcom, which I'm surprised. But remember Barcelona, I think it was Barcelona 92, 1992? Well, it's Olympic Gold Challenge 92. It's actually a good game and a nice take on a track and field game for Capcom to do. And it's actually quite fun. I like it. And as all trilogies must be shown, here's another one. Double Dragon 3. Considerably the worst of the series, especially in the arcade. If you played the arcade version, you had to put in quarters to get special power-ups from shops. And to me, it was more of a a coin muncher than anything else. And the gameplay sucked. It was just a gimmick for you to pay money, and you really didn't get a good game. So, the NES version was better considerably, by considerable margin on top of that, but it's still weaker compared to 2, especially one life and it's over. And then when you get up to, I think it's Italy and Egypt, if you die you get to continue, but after that you're done for. I've gotten to the final boss of the game and she whoops my ass. some consider this a bad game, and I don't see why. If you like hack and slash, you'll like this game. And it has a nice anime, Japanese region-inspired music. I was trying to find some kind of good technical term to use so I don't use the same words all over again, but I don't know. I just suck with the English language. We'll just get that across right now, across the board. Conquest of the Crystal Palace by Asmik. I always pick the life crystal because I like to have a full energy bar when I'm going through the game. But you can go through shops. There's this bitch by the name of Kim who will sell you items to help you on your quests, and you can get something similar to the life crystal that will give you a full energy bar. However, the game has a gimmick where you can watch the QNN news. The game was trying to be, or that game was just trying to be, you know, different in some ways. But I don't know. I like the game personally, and it's a fun game to play. The last stage will piss you off because it's a maze, but the game has catchy music, and you'll find yourself humming a lot of the tunes in the game. Give it a try, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, a game that's inspired by Aleste, I would have to say. It's made by the same company, Compile. And, well, this is actually a really good port. It's Xanic. And here's a little bit of trivia for you. If you turn on the game on the title screen, the game misspells designed. It says descended by Compile or Nintendo. It's one of the two. It's funny, they actually misspell the word in it. I mean, you know, some games on the NES weren't quality controlled. I mean, they just pretty much put it in there for fuck's sake and left it at that. I bought this game for 50 cents, and it's slow and sluggish and kind of stupid. But, you know, I was bored and stoned one night when I bought this game, and it was actually really fun. You gotta be, like, intoxicated or buffed off hallucinogens to enjoy this game. So, Secret Service. It's by Ultra, by the way. Konami! Seriously, it's Konami. I'm dead serious. Dead fucking serious. Okay. People find this a classic for the NES. I disagree because there's a lot of broken things within the game that allow it not to be fun. I mean, granted, the actual arcade game is hard within itself, and it has really tricky enemy patterns and fucked up level design choices. And you throw your lance backwards in the NES version, it looks like a drug needle. And the game I'm talking about is Ghosts and Goblins. Pop it in and press the B button. Throw your shit. Tell me that does not look like a drug needle. But I think you're throwing your lance backwards. Now this, some people consider this the best wrestling game for Nintendo. And some of you are probably already naming it off as we speak. Pro wrestling. Well, we don't need to go there. Catchy ass fucking music that ruins your brain. Now they made a Game Boy version of this, which was a lot better. But this, as the original game, is still very good. For if you like shmups. It's not classic by any means, but it's still good, and it should be recognized. Maybe I'll do a review on it, because I really think it should be recognized by the gaming crowd. Beret Fighter. The Game Boy one had one called Beret Deluxe, and it had extra, I think, levels and gameplay choices. I'm not entirely sure. I just remember playing it briefly and thinking, wow, this is a lot better than the NES version. If you're into emulation, get yourself Visual Boy Advance and download it from Ron Nation or something. A game that ruined many childhoods and pissed off fans of the series. However, I like the game, and I can beat it. However, there are days I can't. I get inside the main last part of the game and get owned. I didn't give away what the name of the base was. I'll tell you as soon as I hold the controller up to the camera here. The Technodrome. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I like how they used the cover art from one of their comics because they all wore the same bandana in the comic, I guess. When I was a kid, I really liked this game because it had my favorite wrestler of all time in it. So it is an official wrestling game. And about two of the wrestlers on here are dead, unfortunately. God rest their soul. WrestleMania Challenge. This isn't bad. It isn't. I mean, I love Tecmo World Wrestling a hell of a lot more, but this is actually quite good. The only problem with it is there's no real ending, and all you do is wrestle. Tecmo World Wrestling gave you a feeling of realism, you know, in terms of 8-bit, which I liked. This was actually an arcade game, but I don't know if the arcade game was released in the Americas. This is called Castle of Dragon. Very lame cover art. I mean, all you see is a dragon that looks like he's, I don't know, on some kind of acid trip. And you have your knight that looks golden, like he had a golden shower from the dragon. And you have a princess that looks like the shit I took 2 hours ago. And then you just have some fog and a castle. I mean, what the fuck were they thinking when they drew this? Who at the set of the table said, "Hey guys, let's see the cover art for this game we have coming out here"? Well, here you go, sir. This is what we came out with. That looks fan-fucking-tastic. Make sure that shit is on that PCB card. Okay. Fags. People have their reasoning. For that, I seriously have no idea. I know I do that with a lot of NES cards. The nostalgic value that some games have. This was in my top 10. And rightfully so. Seriously, if you don't like this game, there's something wrong with you up here. I'm sorry. If you're a gamer, and if you're just starting out in the NES craze some years later, I know, but you know, see, to me, gaming doesn't have a time limit. If you enjoy games from that generation, continue to play it. Who cares if others are playing COD, Halo, and all those craptacular games? Play a good game, regardless of what system it's on. Like this beauty, Life Force, amazing in every aspect. Yes, it's a shmup. Yes, it's a Gradius ripoff kind of sorta, but it's a different universe. And it was cool how it included body parts and certain parts of people's inner structures in the game, like a rib cage and a skull and a heart, and the list goes on. This game was called Salamander in Japan, and there spawned a sequel in Japan by Salamander 2. Now, being the ways of pirating, I scored myself a copy of Salamander Deluxe Pack Edition for the PlayStation, and I used that boot disc called Disc Breaker Pro? Something Breaker Pro. I can't... It's something like that. It's called Something Breaker Pro. I bought it from Europe and got it shipped over here, and I'm able to play some games that weren't available in the Americas, and import fees aren't worth the asking price. I should enter Dracula X here. Because Dracula X is a wonderful game for the PC Engine, but it's not worth the asking price at all. Luckily, we got that released over here as Dracula X Chronicles for the PSP. But not everyone's a PSP owner. I think the game should have been released on the DS, because there's more broader audience, and I'm sure it would have sold a hell of a lot more. But thankfully, my fiance has a PSP and that game, so I can play it anytime I want. Go Demonius. Go Demonius. Another game that was on my top 10. And rightfully so once more. A running gun game that, you know, I know I keep cutting myself off because I just have so many thoughts that come to mind when it comes to these games I got. My second drawer is done. We got 2 more left. If this game had a diagonal shot, much like Metal Slug, it would have been even more epic and fantastic. But as a game that's trying to be original in its own right, I still heart this game. The soundtrack is what really makes it shine. And the gameplay's good. Because this is back when this company gave a fuck. Sunsoft and Journey to Silius. Matter of fact, the game has a small cult following. Alright, let's open this drawer. Oh shit. Now this is hard because I have my SNES and some NES games in here. But we'll just do the best we can. I hope you all are appreciating this. I mean, I'm packing them, so I thought while I packed them, I might as well just go ahead and show you my NES collection. Some of you have been asking me for it for a long, long time, and I wanted to make it, but like I said, there was some shit going on online that I just wanted to stay away from. So I'm just going to say the hell with it and just go ahead and show the shit, and hopefully you enjoy it. I know I'm boring and not exciting, but at least I'm, you know, given the time to show you guys my collection. I want you to enjoy it. I really do. I'm not the funniest guy in the world, but I try to add some kind of humor within my collection video. Here. Anyways, enough with the talking and reflecting on oneself's feelings. This is pretty cool. It's called Totally Rad. The game has cutscenes that uses that language that we used to use back in the day, like bodacious, gnarly, that's rad, dude. Roogs, man, rock on, my brother, you know, shit like that. And it uses it a lot. I mean, it oversaturates the cutscenes with that kind of shit. Now, on romhacking.net, they have a hack that puts the original Japanese text in and translates it to English. I'm going to have to check that out and play it on my Wii. But this is a good game, though. If you can get past the whole gnarly dude, rockin', surfing, man, motherfucker, you know, that kind of shit, you should look it up. Give it a try. You may like it, and then you may not. It's like Mega Man, and you get different powers, and you can use them right off the bat. You don't have to earn them like you do in Mega Man, which should be a plus on some of you out there. Now, once again, I like baseball games for the NES. I mention that many occasions. I don't think I need to stress that enough. But I really like this. I bought it at a thrift store for $3. It's bases loaded to the second season. The outfielding in this is actually really good. But Baseball Stars stomps all the NES games that are baseball. Unfortunately. Here we go. I showed the third one a few minutes ago. An absolute classic by all NES standards. Ninja Gaiden. The hack and slash masterpiece. That was better than the arcade game by many, many, many standards. The arcade one was a beat 'em up that was total shite. But when I was a kid, I used to like it, and the Game Over screen used to give me nightmares. Which I may add in my Game Over video. But Ninja Gaiden is really good. I beat it 3 months of owning it, because you know that stage, what stage was that? 4-2. That one cliff, there's a cliff, and it's right here, right? And you gotta get down here, and you have to do it just right, or you'll fall in the pit. You know what part I'm talking about? That's the part I was stuck on for a long, long time. Okay, next. I don't need to say anything. This was probably the best-selling NES game in the market for that in that time period, in 1990. Hell, it was even in the movie The Wizard. California. Fag. No. That I have a soft spot for that movie because I've never seen it in a theater, but I loved it because it had Fred Savage and Bo Bridges, and I like both actors then. Anyways, now this is considered the best Mario game. I totally disagree. It's a great game. I'm not denying that at all. It is a fantastic game. especially with 2 players. But Mario World bettered Mario 3 by terms of levels, power-ups. Yoshi, even though you can drop that little bastard in the fucking pit because I hate that cocksucker. Okay, Mario Rage hate aside, the cover art of this is so crap, but the game is really good. It also spawned, there was an arcade game as well that this spawned from, but Astyanax. Is that how it's pronounced? Astyanax? I like the game. But if you look at the character, he looks like a flamer. I mean, look at him. He has an A on his shirt, and he's all like, yay! You know, he looks stupid. And I hate to say this, but for 8-bit graphics, that princess in there is pretty fucking hot. But then again, we all like redheads. I'm speaking from a nerd perspective. Not my own. I like, you know, I like redheads. I think we all do. That aside, haha. This was also an arcade game, and once again, I didn't know this until I discovered name. Jackal. I prefer this over the arcade version. The arcade version to me just feels like a bunch of shit thrown together. It was decent for what it was trying to do in terms of level design, but I don't agree with it. So, I mean, it doesn't make the game shit, it's just something I don't, you know, I don't prefer. If anyone wants to play Jackal, you should play this version. Who can forget the last boss battle in that version? That was epic. The big fucking tank shooting that big laser at you, and you feel your face perspirating, you feel your hands perspirating, you feel your heart thump, and you feel yourself just shaking the controller. You're like, alright man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And sometimes you do it, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't. Great anime, but every game I played on the series is shit. They can't grasp the beauty of what this game or this series entails in terms of the anime. Fist of the North Star. This, I believe, was the second one, and it was released in the Americas, because there is a fan base of this here. Much like Record of Lotus War, but it's been like, some, I don't know, 10, 11 years before we got a game of that over here. The Dreamcast, which was like Diablo, but better. I missed my review of this, and that's the only, this game is the only reason I wish I still had my old channel. Because the review of it was funny, and I got a lot of positive comments on it too. It's Paperboy. Paperboy is awesome. It's a lot of fun. You break windows. I had to prefer the arcade version though, because you can get extra lives first of all, and secondly, the bike of the control is a lot better. The only thing the NES version had going over this is the mailboxes were easier to hit, and so were some of the breakable items or breakable environments, such as the windows and the graves and shit. The arcade version was harder to hit those. Some are confused about this game because they think it's an actual sequel to Commando. I even thought that because you play as Super Joe in Commando, but in this you are to save Super Joe. So it could be a sequel. It could be. I really don't know. But there was an arcade game of this, and the arcade game was terrible, but the home conversion was better. I like Commando. And the first music, the first stage music, is awesome. It's one of my favorite tunes in video game history. Do 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 do. Oh, sorry. Us nerds gotta get off to our video game music. Now, this game didn't get much notice either, and I need to sit up for a minute. Okay. This game did not get the notice it should have. It was simple graphically, but the gameplay was legendary. And every time I see this game, it brings a smile on my face. It's not like a favorite, but it's a game I like to play every now and then because, well, when you beat the core of the ships that you destroy, you you have a sense of isolation and fear, because as time progresses and you're wasting time trying to find the exit, the levels start to shake and you hear, you know, it just brings a it brings a suspense feeling. Anyways, I'll shut up. Air Fortress. There's a second quest. I never beat this game though. I believe my password is AYNU, and that's as far as I got, because I can't beat the base. It's impossible. Either I'm not that good or I'm just out of practice. One may never know. Now people rip on this game because they say it's too much like, what's that one game? Legend of Kage. The sequel of that is excellent. If you have a DS, an R4, whatever, get that fucking game. It's really good. It reminds me of that of a 16-bit hack and slash, but just prettier with more color. Anyways, Demon Sword. I love this game. I really do. It's not great, but I love it because I like the fact that you have to actually sit. You can't just jump through the trees like you did in Legend of Kage. You actually had to attack enemies and get orbs that gave you power, that would up your life and your power and a few other things. I mean, sometimes you'd have to sit there for an hour because everything's so random. I just wish there was kind of conditions you could meet to get those power-ups. That would have made this a lot better. But Taito did a good job, and I like Demon Sword. I've never beaten it, but I've gotten probably, I want to say, the last boss. I want to say. My friend Carl gave me this copy because he had two, and I got his doubles. Like I said that before in a previous video, and you get 2 good games in one pack. But they should have released the third one with this, even though I had no reference to Mario, but Donkey Kong himself. But that's what it is, Donkey Kong Classics. This isn't very common. I think it could be worth some money someday. But, like I said, my collection's not for sale. Sorry. Great movie. Well, compared to the first one, not so much, but it's a great movie. And the game is actually short but sweet. And it shows some of the best graphics that can be showcased on the NES. And some of you may have fond memories of this, some may not. Gremlins 2, the new batch of the video game. The cutscenes, you need to see the cutscenes to that game. They're fantastic. I admit I own my fair share of crap made by LJN. And this is no exception because I'm a fan of the franchise of the movies. Okay, I'll just shut up. This cart is really in mint condition. Everything on it is shiny. There's only a couple scratches on it, but there you go. Okay. Another game that's not really mentioned much. But, you know, if you actually take the time to play it, it's not so bad, but it's not great by any means. I like the game because it's obscure. I kind of like the obscure games. I'm not so much of a fan of popular games, per se, but, you know, sometimes a game comes around and you play it, and you're like, you know what, this is actually kind of cool. Especially when you know what to do in it. In this one, you really need to look at what you're doing to know what your objective is. Anyways, that's Dr. Chaos. I like the game. It's different. My only complaint is it's slow. It's slow paced. It's slow, and the enemies have a very big advantage over it in terms of balance between attack and the player. I mean, their attacks do massive damage. Okay, unfortunately this label's ripped, but you can see what it is. This is the worst of the series. I hate this game, but I bought it knowing I hated it. The only reason why I bought it is because one day I will beat it, because Like I said, I'm a completist. I like to complete the games I own. I don't like to own them just to own them. Most gamers will just buy one and be like, "Oh, look at me, I got this game, you know, hee hee hee," you know. But I don't want to be like that. I want to buy my games and play them and try to beat them. In some games, I just get too frustrated that I can't go on. I don't have the patience anymore. I did when I was younger, don't get me wrong, but now I don't. But one day I will beat this game. It's a question of when. Where's this in Warriors 3? The something of Curls. The Courage of Curls? The Quest of... I can't remember, but there's a side name for this. And, well, I mean, it's okay. Just the layout. Where the hell are you supposed to go or do? I know you're supposed to go to the thief school or that knight school, and you gotta go through that, fucking perturb, but other than that, what do you gotta do? That, I can't remember. There goes my brain. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm trying to do this all on the fly, and my choice of words are pretty retarded. Okay, I showed you the second one a little while back, but basically the original. I like the original. I played this, my friend Teddy Edwards brought this game over to my house when I was a kid. And we used to play a lot together. And he was better than me because, well, like I said, he owned the game. However, I liked the game because it's baseball and it plays quite well for an NES game. This I picked up when I seen my fiance at their game stores. Now, I love the South because they got vintage stock. I am a vintage gamer by heart. I will never choose new age over old age ever. Because this is when games were games. Okay? That's just my opinion, though. You don't have to take it to heart. Relax. I just think gamers who shun old stuff like this, you know, they really need to experience the good games that they had, or not be so fucking close-minded. Anyways, well, this isn't one of those games, though. I mean, this is a good game, but it's not anywhere near what I'm talking about. But it's Gauntlet. I own the unlicensed cart, and rightfully so, because the licensed cart is not as common. They released World Rally on the Wii, and this was another game you can make your own shit. The programmable series, they call it. Excite Bike. A fun game. You know, back in the day, when the 64 version came out, I unlocked the original game by completing the tutorial mode, and I played the piss out of the original, and I didn't own the cartridge then. Then my friend Carl, he had a buddy named Charles who was a garbage picker, and they would find NES, SNES, N64 games in the garbage. You bring them over. He had 16 copies of Turtles 1. So you can pretty much guess where I got my copy from. He also gave me a couple NES controllers, you know, just for shits and giggles, and a spare NES. And a power pad. So I got some of them. I didn't buy all this stuff I got. People loaned them to me or gave them to me because, you know, if they have no use for them, they know I'll use them. That's for sure. Another game I can't make sense of, because there's some orbs in the stages that you have to get, and I don't understand how you get some of them. But it's Time Lord. I like the game, though. It's not bad. It could be better by any means. Okay, this drawer's just about done. I prefer this game over the original Final Fantasy. It's actually cheaper and more affordable too. And I don't know, I even like the cover art. It has some evil sense to it, and it's cool how the knight looks the dragons into the eyes. Anyways, it's the first Dragon Warrior. Back in Funkland, that game was like $5, while the other ones were like $20+. I don't know why. The first one was really good. I mean, 2 and 3 were good. They were just rare. You know, they weren't very common at all. I call this Ninja Gaiden Hair Edition because, well, that's pretty much what it is. But really good game, and you should play it. Kabuki Quantum Fighter. I remember seeing this on Video Power a lot. that game show with Nintendo games, and people would try to stump Johnny or whatever his name, the gamer. And if they stumped them, they got that stupid little controller. I don't know. And at the end, they got to run and stick games on their vest. I don't know if I'm bringing nostalgic back for any of you guys, and I'm sorry if I am, if it's making you sad, because I know how it is to miss something. But yeah, I saw this a lot on there. That and what was that stupid game they showed a lot of? Flight the Intruder was another one, and I forgot the other one. But they always played like the same games during those little game run test thingamajigs. And I got the sequel to Track and Field 2, which had more games. I mean, there's karate, there's pole vaulting, there's a lot, and they increased the graphics, and it's a better game in terms of, you know, something of that nature. Loved by some, hated by many, because the translation with this game is totally broken. Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest. I personally love the game. I don't like the translation because it's broken, but I like the game. The game is very good. The golden age, the holy grail of hatred in my collection. But I got it from my friend Carl, so I didn't pay anything for it, thank God. Car Wars, I hate this game. I hate it. Why do I hate it so much, you may ask? I'll tell you why. The gameplay is broken, and the enemy has, like, I can't really think of all the reasons. Let's just say the enemy is cheap in the game. Okay, well, we're almost done, guys. We're hanging in there. I'll try to go ahead and finish it in this. I have boxed games, too. If you want to see those, ask. If I get enough requests to see those, I'll go ahead and show those off, too. This is going on, I know. My favorite hockey game of all time, next to Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey. I'm sorry. Where I used to say, thought it said free straw every time a face-off would happen. Best hockey game ever made. Disagree if you want, I don't care. The holy grail of run and gun shooting games. Contra. Another game I got for a pack of cigarettes. When I was 15. The kid was 12, 13. And I would, you know, take my dad's top tobacco, roll about 5 cigarettes. So it wasn't a pack of cigarettes, it was 5, I'm sorry. And he'd run home, get a couple NES games, and give them to me for doing that for him. The sequel to Contra for the NES. Super Contra. This is my favorite out of this and the original. Why? There's really no reason why. I just think it's better. I like the music better and the gameplay. I mean, there's probably more to it than that. I just can't. I can't put my finger on it. Another unlicensed cart that has 4 games on it. Armake did a review on this not too long ago. Well, actually, it was quite a while ago now. But it's the Quadro 4 Adventure cart. Has Super Robin Hood, Treasure Island Dizzy, Boomerang Kid, and Linus Spacehead. Case in point, this, what I hold in my hand, is the original one I got with my NES action set. Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. Probably the best multi-cartridge you can find out there. Because the other ones were, Now, see, this game could have been so cool, but it turned out to be a pile of shit, because I don't understand what you gotta do. even if I did, it doesn't seem like it would be a fun game anyways. I guess it was an arcade game, same name. Cobra Command. I believe there was a game called Chopper Command for Sega CD. That was really good. I used to play that game a lot up at Funko. Sequel to a great, wonderful hack and slash. This is a sequel to both the NES and arcade, and I never understood the cover art. I mean, with the dragon in the background, but it's still cool looking. Ninja Gaiden 2 and the Dark Sword of Chaos. Fans of hardcore NES gameplay enjoy those games for all they're worth. Great music. Seriously, I have know what the fuck to do. It's also known as called Dragon Slayer 4: The Drazael Family. Legacy of the Wizard. I don't understand what you gotta do in this game at all. I like the music though. It's made by Yuzo Koshiro of Streets of Rage fame. I like this game. I like this better than the arcade port, definitely. It's a lot more. It has an NES vibe, and it feels like a gyroscopic version of Gradius. Gyrus. It's probably Gyrus. I don't know. Now, the Spectrum version I heard was better than this version. And the protagonist looks a lot like Billy Lee. I don't think it was made by the same company, though, because Double Dragon was a Technos-made game, if my memory serves me. That's good music, though. If you find the NSF, you should listen to it. You can find NSFs on Zofer.net. I made a video where you can listen to video game music. So if I mention something that has good music and you're curious to listen to, follow that guy and you should be on your way. I call this Adam's Family Blaster Master Edition, but not because it's good. Not because it's anyway good, because this game is terrible. It's hard. But anyways, here you go. Fester's Quest. Seriously, the mode where you're walking around reminds me of Blaster Master, and he had those frogs that look just like the Blaster Master ones. This was given to me by my late friend, who is now no longer with us. Rest in peace, Steve Michael Schrinzak. Star Voyager. It's okay. I can't make sense of it though, because I thought it was going to be like the Atari game, and it isn't. What was that Star Master? This is what you get when you go to a pawn shop and you get stuff that's dilapidated. Which depresses me, but it works, and it works well, and stands to be one of the finest games in the series. Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Notice the crack in the middle. They made a hack on this game called Little Remo, and it was funny because it was about child molestation and a few other things, which isn't funny by any standards, people. But I mean, the hack itself, the humor involved is funny. It's not real, so that makes it funny. If this was actually something based off real life, then I wouldn't have any kind of humor to say about that hack. Anyways, it's Little Nemo the Dream Master. Okay, 2 more games in here, and I still gotta grab some. I got some on top of my NES I gotta show off yet. But we're just about done, guys. This game is hard everywhere you go, and the arcade game is even worse. The Japanese one actually had a storyline, and it was made by Namco, and he had no continues in the Japanese version. And God tells you you failed. What more of a depressing way to be if to have the man upstairs say that you failed? Karnov. This game has possibly the worst ending in American history. I love this game because of the music, and it was actually made by Natsume, even though Milton Bradley published it. And some people hate the game, some people love the game, and some people are, you know, they have mixed feelings about the game. Abaddon, The Inner War. I like the game. I like the music and the things it has to offer. Okay, I'm going to go grab my games that are in the cabinet. I will be right back with them to put in this tote. And then that'll be the end of my cartridges. If you want to see the box games, ask. And if I get enough requests, I'll go ahead and show the box games. But I'll be right back. Okay. Well, there's four more carts, and there's actually box games that I had in there too. So I'll show those off for that. Excuse me. My dad and I used to play this game together, and he bought it on Valentine's Day. It was made by Square. It was before they got into the whole RPG whatever word you want to say, the whole fiasco of RPGs. Rad Racer. This actually just came out in the Virtual Console on the Wii, which is pretty depressing. This is also part of the Dragon Slayer series as well. And it was made by Falcom, the same company that brought us wonderful games such as Ys. And the Dragon Slayer, they actually made the Dragon Slayer series, so that makes sense. And the Sorcery series, which is good too. I mean, Sorcery isn't great, but it's fun. Don't play the Genesis version, though. That version sucks. I guess it was published by Hudson Soft or NES, because you don't see the Hudson logo anywhere. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Here you go. Faxanadu. Excellent questing game. This game actually inspired Super Ninja Brothers, or Little Ninja Brothers, because it plays just like the damn game, minus the RPG aspects of it. But here you go. Kung Fu Heroes. So fun. And my favorite 8-bit Zelda. That's my absolute favorite 8-bit Zelda ever created in the history of mankind. Okay, now for the 3 box games I got here. 2 which I bought from Game Rush, and 1 I got offline from me and my fiance to play because she loves the game and had it as a kid. So when I get married and move down there, she and I can play the game together. Anyways, I got Skate or Die. It's a competition skateboarding game. And who can forget the pool joust? That was a fun part of the game. And I got a sequel, Skate or Die 2, which is terrible, but the ramp is fun. The ramp? That was probably the funnest aspect of the game, and that was it. Because the game actually sucked cock big time. And the one I bought for me and Michelle to play, and it came complete too. I got the box and book and 3D glasses. So you can play the game. Yo, man, this is 3D radical shit, man. Man, motherfucker, this game has it going, man. Look at the popped out images, man. Oh, is that weed hitting me? Oh, shit. Just trying to be funny. I can see the tumbleweed going across the screen now. Yeah, it's, God damn it. Orb 3D. This is actually quite fun. There's puzzles, and you gotta use the perception of 3D to beat some of the levels, and the puzzles really are hard. Well, for cartridges, that's about it, guys. I have box games, but there's only like 7 of them, and they're mostly LGN games. I can tell you what they are. They're Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I was given that to me from a friend, my friend Jason McGolan. He also gave me Wolverine. What else? Let's see if I can see in there. Oh, I also have Snake's Revenge and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Strike. And that's it. Oh, and there's 2 games I did put away before I packed up. One was Twin Eagle, but I can't remember the other one. So there you have it. That is my NES collection. I know it's rather large, but you know what? Collecting all the carts and getting all of them was truly worth the time and effort and money, because nerds enjoy playing old games, and I love my NES collection. And I think if I inspire anyone to start one, believe me, it can be a lot of fun, but it can also be a lot of stress, because people like to overcharge for old games because of their obscurity. However, in closing, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted it to be fantastic. I wanted you to have a little bit of fun and enjoy what I had to show you. And I've been promising my NES collection for a long time now, and I really hope I delivered. If I didn't, I'm sorry. It's just the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. Well, that's my NES collection. I hope this has been fun for you, and hope you enjoyed this. This video is over an hour long. I sincerely hope you enjoy the entire hour in which it's made in. Anyways, this is Demonius X signing off for right now. I hope you have all a great night, and we'll see you again soon. Take it easy.